It's artificial intelligence.
A machine. So it doesn't count. No, it's not like a person lifting the hammer.
Right. Different rules for us.
Nice guy, artificial.
Thank you.
But if you put the hammer in an elevator, it would still go up.
Elevator's not worthy.
I'm gonna miss these little talks of ours.
Well, not if you don't leave.
I have no choice.
They're lining up.
Well, they're excited.
Nothing.
We need to go.
Right.
Well done.
I am running out of things to say. Are you ready?
It's terribly well balanced.
Well, if there's too much weight, you lose power on the swing. Keep out Daryl. Costume for battles. Little Mjolnir over here taking a nap. Little Mjolnir here. Pair of sunglasses in case it gets bright on the Rainbow Bridge, which often it does. Oh, if you lift up this little thing, what's he holding? Me.
Hey YouTubers, it's Charlie. So this is going to be all about Thor's hammer in the movies and in the comics. They change the powers that it has every once in a while, like they introduce new powers. Something really big just happened in the comics. So really big stuff happening with the hammer in the comics, but I'm going to explain the movies first. So Thor himself is kind of a ridiculous character, so Marvel, naturally sensing this, has tried to add a lot of comedy to his films. It just fits so well. You know, big, dumb, seeming guy. It's just ripe for comedy. So one of the most important things about Thor's identity is the hammer, so naturally, hammer comedy is a big part of Thor movies. So you have people trying to lift it up, like the Hulk in the first Avengers film. You have Vision picking it up in the second film. You have him bashing Captain America's shield with it, like the most comic booky moments you could possibly think of. What happens when the unstoppable force meets the immovable object? But the hammer itself has its own identity, and now in the comics, they've just spelled that out a little bit more. So when you think of Odin's enchantment, whosoever holds this hammer, if he be worthy, shall possess the power of Thor. How is it determined whether or not someone is worthy? Well now, because of the comics, we know that the hammer does have its own consciousness. It is alive. The hammer is alive. That just makes you think the hammer is my penis, and Nathan Fillion's in the background just going, please put me in more Marvel movies. But if the hammer is alive, are the movies ever going to address it? So with each new Marvel film, they tried to use the hammer in funny new ways. So like Vision lifting it up was like the big thing in Avengers Age of Ultron, like, oh my god, we've never seen this before. Somebody else is wielding Thor's hammer. There was even a deleted scene from Thor the Dark World with Loki lifting Thor's hammer in triumph, like everyone was cheering him. It was an illusion that he had created, so it wasn't real. But even if you haven't read the comics, you just get the idea. Other people have been able to lift Thor's hammer. So back to the modern movies. Captain America has dropped the shield. Iron Man shouts at him as he's walking away from the fight, "My father made that. It doesn't belong to you." And he drops it. No, it doesn't belong to me anymore. Just because he's left the name Captain America behind. People wondering, when is he going to pick the shield back up? When is he going to become Captain America again? I will say that he will be worthy of the Captain America title when he can lift Thor's hammer. The hammer will tell everyone, including Captain America himself, that he's worthy to be Captain America again. So the Russos have said that when we get to Avengers Infinity War, the band, so to speak, like the family, will still be divorced, they'll still be broken up. So there'll probably be some moment during that film, or even the second Infinity War film, where Captain America becomes worthy again. Just the idea being that by the time that he's worthy again to be Captain America, they'll have also healed a lot of the wounds between the Avengers. But let me know in the comments, do you think that we'll ever see Captain America lift Thor's hammer in the Marvel movies before Chris Evans stops playing the character in the movies? Now, I think that he's going to be Captain America for a long time. It's just that none of the other characters will call him Cap anymore, or they'll call him that as an honorary title. They'd be like, don't call me that, I'm not Captain America anymore. But you get the idea. The hammer is just a really fun way to tell the story without actually speaking words. Like showing someone you're worthy, or us, the audience, is much more powerful than telling us they're worthy. So what about the hammer's powers? We've seen all the standard powers in the movies, the ability to summon lightning, giving Thor the power of flight, a certain level of indestructibility. Well, the new power that they just debuted in the comics that we haven't really seen before is the ability to manifest a physical doppelganger. So what happens is like in the most recent Thor comic, the female Thor, Jane Foster, is shot with something called the Midas bullet. So it's like slowly poisoning her, turning her to gold. Mjolnir, we also learn, has the ability to leach toxins out of its wielder's body. So like if Thor gets poisoned and he's holding Mjolnir, the hammer can slowly draw the poison out. So this whole time she's been the female Thor, S.H.I.E.L.D. has been trying to prove that she's Jane Foster because she's been hiding her identity from most people. There are a couple people that know that she's Jane Foster. Like the actual Thor, he knows that it's Jane Foster, but most people have no idea that it's her. So S.H.I.E.L.D. is like, okay, Thor is dying. Unless Jane Foster comes to save you, we are going to take it as proof that you are secretly Jane Foster. So what happens is the hammer, deeming her worthy, manifests this fake Jane Foster to come treat actual Jane Foster and pull the bullet out of her. So the construct that the hammer creates is really sophisticated. It's not just a hologram, it goes way beyond that. But the funny thing is that she has absolutely no idea what's going on. Like, she doesn't know that much about the hammer. The hammer explains to her later that it deemed her worthy and that it's not going to be doing this for a long, long time again. So it's not like it can always create doppelgangers on command. It's just like a very special power that it can only do every once in a while. But what about other special powers? So Stan Lee debuted the hammer back in the early 60s. Naturally, the stories back then were a little more whimsical, so the hammer had the ability to open portals through time. It could do pretty much anything you could imagine, any ridiculous power you could imagine. So later Thor writers have tried to rein that in a little bit, but also use the hammer in really new, interesting ways. So this doppelganger power is just like the newest thing in that line of powers. I'm not expecting them to ever do it in the movies, but they're, because the hammer is enchanted, naturally you'd expect it to be magical. Doctor Strange has crossed paths with it. I don't think they're going to do this in the movie, but in the comics, Doctor Strange has been able to repair the hammer using the Odin Force. That's how powerful the hammer is, that it requires the Odin Force, one of the greatest powers in the universe, to repair it. But I almost forgot, it also has the ability to change the appearance of Thor or anybody that wields it. So when he's walking around as Donald Blake in the comics, he has to be holding the hammer or have it near him for a certain period of time in order to maintain the illusion. It's kind of like a version of what Loki does when he changes his appearance, but Loki's magic is a little more broad spectrum than Thor's hammer magic. But here's the WTF twist. So we know Hulk is in Thor Ragnarok. Wouldn't it be crazy if Hulk wielded the hammer before Captain America did? I'm not expecting anyone else to wield Thor's hammer during Ragnarok, but I do think that they will use the hammer in a slightly different way, like in a way that we haven't seen before. So maybe we'll get more teasers for the conscious hammer or the Odin Force. We're going to have Ragnarok. We have Ragnarok monsters to deal with. So naturally, they're going to be doing some really crazy stuff. Speaking of which, Sam Neill has been cast in Thor Ragnarok, so make all the Jurassic Park Ragnarok monster jokes that you want. We have no idea who he's playing. He could be like the keeper of the Midgard serpent, or he could just be some random person on the street. One of the reasons why he's probably in the film is because Waititi just cast him in Hunt for the Wilder People, which was the last big film that he did before he started shooting Thor Ragnarok. So he's something of a local actor where they're down there filming Thor Ragnarok, so it just makes sense. Great actor, gonna be awesome in Thor Ragnarok. But I do like the idea that the Ragnarok monsters are kind of like the dinosaurs of the Thor universe. Just like these really giant, powerful, terrible monsters that are from this time before time. But let me know in the comments, what do you think that Sam Neill is doing in Thor Ragnarok? And what is your favorite moment with Thor's hammer from the movie so far? Probably the party scene is the funniest, but Vision lifting it was my oh shit moment. So just expect some more of that from the Marvel movies that Thor is in the future. It's going to be a lot of fun. Anytime they have an opportunity to do something crazy with Thor's hammer, they will take it. But more Marvel, more DC coming later, so be sure to subscribe to get everything. If you guys have any bonus videos you guys want or any Ghost Rider stuff, just let me know in the comments. Episode 2 of Ghost Rider posting on Tuesday night. While you guys wait for my next video, you can click here to watch the full funny Thor trailer again, and you can click here for my top 10 Justice League rosters. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Let's high five. I'll see you guys tonight.